Hola, soy Mónica Conesa y estás mirando Eclectic Arts Media.
Hi, my name is Calder Schilling, and I'm playing Sherlock Holmes.
Hello, I'm Nate Tenenbaum playing Watson.
And you're watching Eclectic Arts Media.
Aloha, I'm Jake Shimobukuro, and you're watching Eclectic Arts Media.
Hi guys, I'm Jiaoying Summers, and you are watching Eclectic Arts Media.
Hi, I'm Mara Vincent, co-artistic director of Olympic Ballet Theater and Olympic Ballet School.
Hi, I'm Oleg Garbulov. I'm co-artistic director of Olympic Ballet Theater and Olympic Ballet School.
And you're watching Eclectic Arts Media.
Hey, I'm Jennifer Page, and you're watching Eclectic Arts Media.
Alex, get out the phone.
What the? Gator? Yeah. The fuck is that? Grilled octopus.
Try it.
Pass me the potatoes.
Bless you.
Can I have some choco chips?
Yeah, sure. That sounds pretty good. How about 2 of those, Gator?
You don't want some tasty bacon, or I've got elk sausage?
I think choco chips this morning.
This is, for the record...
You're gonna be fine, Gator.
Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. I'm Mark Sugiyama from Eclectic Arts Media, based here in Seattle, Washington. And thank you so much for joining me this morning for me on the 12th of, I almost said October, 12th of February 2025, Wednesday, hump day. Hopefully you're having a great day wherever you are. And quickly, I'd like to thank my last guest, which was Camille Sullivan, for these one-on-one interviews last month. Camille is a wonderful guest. I've had her on a handful of times, and she's in the popular show Shoresy right now, which is a hockey-based show. So if you're into hockey, she is a Canadian-based actress. And speaking of which, coming up, my very next live stream is tomorrow, Thursday at noon Pacific. I have Selena Says, which is the recurring series. This is session number 2 that we're doing, so I'm looking forward to catching up with Selena. Will be trying to update some of the things that we talked about, which was included juggling. She's actually been on the road for about 20 days now. She's finally back at home, so we'll see what that whole trip was like, and so much more. And if this is your first time watching me on or joining me on my YouTube channel, if you could do me a huge favor, please hit the subscribe button as well as the notification bell. And if you're on the Twitch side of things, if you could follow me over there, that's great. And if you want to know every little detail of what I have coming up, anytime live streams or events that I'm at in person, or like some of the in-person interviews that I showed just a minute ago, please follow me as Eclectic Arts Media, one word, on Instagram. That's where I post everything first, and some information migrates over to other social media platforms. And if you're really wanting to support the channel, this streaming service costs me money every month. So if you'd like to put a tip in through PayPal or Venmo, the link is in the YouTube description. So every dollar helps. And the other piece I'd like to mention, that if you're watching this or listening to this at home or work or wherever you happen to be right now, and you want to ask my guests a question, please, again, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Follow me on Twitch. You'll have instant access to the chat box. You'll see it. You can put in your questions. Please be aware that my guests do not see what the questions are. I see that on my end, so I will pepper in those questions as we go along with the interview. And if for some reason you're saying anything that's obviously disrespectful, then I will just block you and get rid of you out of it. I haven't had to do that in actually quite a few years, so knock on wood here. But again, if you'd like to ask, it's always great when there's interaction with any guests that I have. And otherwise, I have plenty of things that I want to bring up. Okay, so let's kind of get things. My guest today is a fan favorite chef, author, entrepreneur, and actor. He is best known for portraying the character of Gator on the hit television show Yellowstone. Please welcome back to the Eclectic Arts Media virtual studio, Mr. Gator Gabe. Hey, Gator.
Mark,
how
good
are
to see you, buddy.
Good
I'm
to
doing
see
well.
you.
And
Yes.
if anybody has any negative comments, you can always send them to me. We have a good place to drop people like that off.
Yes, you do. Yeah, it's been, I always have to kind of mention that every now and then. Again, it's been like a couple years where I haven't had somebody come into the chat, but just never know. I've been really lucky with the Yellowstone folks that I've had on. People have been really respectful of where things are at and all that kind of stuff. But it's weird to think that that first interview we did was just over 2 years ago.
It's come a long way since then, my friend.
Okay, well let's kind of dive into things. I'm curious about, so where are you now? Like you've been doing all kinds of things. So what are you working on now, or where are you kind of located?
Well, since we last talked, I actually did end up moving here to Texas, for a lot of reasons. One of which being that we do everything in Texas now. We're a Texas-based company, and our shows are going to be based here. And well, if you don't like Texas, it's a long way to the edge of the state, so tough.
Okay, and so yeah, because if I remember right, when we first talked, I think you were working on Bass Reeves at the time.
That's right. We were doing Bass Reeves. We ended up finishing up that show and ran into a few extra shows here and there. And gosh, this last year, 2024, we worked all year. We did Lioness, we did Landman, which I'm assuming you've seen and everybody is talking about. It's the biggest show on TV right now. You know, whatever Yellowstone is left, that's great, and Yellowstone's never going anywhere. But boy, everybody is excited about that Landman show, and we are too.
Yeah, no, that's awesome that you've been working on those. And yes, I've been watching all the episodes of Landman. Hopefully, we start getting some more things out to the public about what's going on with like a season 2. But yeah, that Billy Bob's amazing in that show.
He's amazing, and we all had such a good, nothing but good reviews for Billy Bob on the crew side. Everybody just had a spectacular time with him, and it was actually interesting. I when I first went on camera for my very first time as a little kid, in the movie called The Bad Santa, my dad worked on that movie as the craft service guy. And when I got on Landman this last year, Billy Bob found out about that, and he goes, "I got to talk to this guy, Gator." And he finally sought me out and said, "Hey, man, I worked with your dad like 20 years ago on a movie called Bad Santa." I was like, "Yeah, yes, Billy, thank you. I'm aware of Bad Santa." But it's always very interesting, especially in the film business, how things can come full circle like that over such a long period of time.
Yeah, that's awesome. I was just watching that movie during the holidays again.
I hope so. It is one of the best Christmas movies.
Yeah, and I love watching like some of the cut scenes and the behind the scenes things about that film, and then like talking with Billy Bob and his amazing performance and the other things that people were trying to they were trying to actually cast before they landed on him for that film. So the fact that your dad worked on it and you're there on that set is just that's crazy.
And he still smokes American spirits and drinks Bud Light all day. So, things are consistent.
Okay. Well, since we're on him, I'm just kind of curious. Did he have any favorite foods of yours that you were making for him?
Billy Bob was pretty strict on his diet. I think it's because of the Bud Lights and American spirits. So I did feed Billy Bob nice fresh fish every day. I've got a pretty good market here in Fort Worth that we use. But yeah, that was his thing. He liked real clean meals, fresh fish, and some veggies. Opposite of the rest of all my actors and cast and crew, and who are all just give me more steak.
Okay, and again, for people, if you're just joining us now, if you want to ask Gator a question, just join the YouTube channel or the Twitch channel, and you can ask your questions, and I'll see them, and I'll pepper them in and ask them as we go along. So obviously, you get two sides because you get you're working craft services on these shows. You get to know the actors and all the creatives and people involved with them. And I'm just also kind of curious. Do you sit and watch the shows yourself then? So have you watched the Landman episodes just as a fan?
Everybody watched Landman like the whole way through right away. We were all super excited about it because it really depends on the show. Like if it was a really, really tough job or you had some tough times on it or it was stressful, most of us will wait a good period of time to kind of process and decompress before we're ready to like watch the full show. Cause this is a big undertaking for everybody on the jobs. And, sometimes these shows are 7 months long and we go through a lot together, and it's not always sunshine and rainbows and fun and happy. It can be really, really draining. So a lot of times it'll take, some of us a year or so before we're ready to watch it. This was not the case on Landman. Landman was so much fun to work on and so pleasant, and everybody had a really good time. At least everybody that I care about their opinions, anyways. But yeah, when Landman came out, we were all super stoked to watch it, and we were just like you guys. We were waiting for the episodes to come out. Like, when's the next one? I'm ready, because it's very, very good show. Same with this year of Yellowstone 5B. It was I think that was some of the best work that we've actually ever done. Writing was very good, and everybody really knocked it out of the park all the way on their acting abilities too this last season. So it was a treat.
Yeah, and since you brought up Yellowstone 5V, your character had some very memorable scenes and some dialogue, particularly about the rattlesnake and also about I want to say it wasn't Vaseline, was it KY jelly, if I remember right? Vaseline, okay.
KY would have been 2 on the nose. Vaseline is a little bit more ND.
Okay, there we go. Were those scripted that way? Did Taylor just tell you, hey, say this, say that kind of a thing?
Taylor was not there for all that. We had a different director, but yes, Taylor writes all the stuff, and the rattlesnake scene is 1,000,000% Taylor Sheridan signature scene. Like, that is, if you haven't noticed, or the fans haven't noticed, just about every show that he puts out, there will be some sort of snake scene. There's going to be something with a rattlesnake. I mean, I think every season of the show we've had it. Every spinoff has had some sort of snake thing, and this year's. I got to be there for the snake thing, and it's kind of a funny signature, and I think it goes unnoticed, but it's definitely a thing. And yeah, the snake thing was totally written for me by Taylor, and it was so fun to shoot. It was very late at night, and we had all these real snakes there, and I had some of our favorite cast members like Jen Landon and Ian and everybody, and of course, anytime we have Bingham there, we get to hear a little music played throughout the night, so it was just very lovely. And I recall, here's the whole crew. It's my last scene of the season. It's my last, setup for me on camera. I got picture wrapped after that, which is, it's a big deal. And here's everybody staring at me. We've been building up this snake scene for a whole week. We did the snake scene from top to bottom, and here we are. I have the final line of the scene, and then of course, if you watch the show, it cuts to Yellowstone right after that, which I didn't know that was going to be the placement of that scene, and it was quite an honor to be the intro for an episode. But all I can remember thinking is, here's 5 cameras on me and my whole crew that I've been feeding for 7-8 years now, and all I could think was, don't miss the swing, don't miss the swing, don't miss the swing, and I swung that axe, and I chopped the head off of a rubber rattlesnake and then a dead rattlesnake also. And I nailed it both times. And when I hit the rubber one, it bounced. And you actually see it in the show. It flies and bounces across the desert. And I got it on the first swing, thank God. Because it's, you're hitting a little half-inch, little wide piece with a big old axe in the middle of the night. So the last thing I want to do is have to take 4 or 5 swings at this thing and embarrass myself.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm curious about the rubber snake, and like you said, the head went spinning off. Did you keep that as like a memento?
No, I kept the axe though.
Okay.
I literally grabbed the axe. I said, you're not getting this back, right? And they're like, we know. Yeah, the axe it's hanging in my entryway at my house. I put that axe up.
That's awesome. I would do the same thing.
Yeah, no, nobody's getting this back.
And that also kind of begs the question in terms of the dialogue in that scene about you saying they're really good if you fry them up.
And they, by the way, are really delicious if you fry a rattlesnake.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask about. What's like if you really did it.
It's like all the best greasiest parts of a fried chicken. That's like eating a rattlesnake.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Delicious. It's funny. I've never I grew up eating rattlesnake from time to time because I grew up in a very Hispanic neighborhood in Los Angeles, and my friends down the street, their dad was a gardener, and he'd catch rattlesnakes all the time doing lawn work, and he'd bring them home, skin them, and fry them up in the pan inside with like chilies and onions, and that was how I learned to eat rattlesnake. It's delicious.
Oh, cool. And just out of curiosity, did you ever make it for the cast or crew based on what that scene was? Just to say, here's something to have for lunch or dinner.
As fun as it would have been, no. They're brave. I don't know if that. You know what they would eat. They would eat it if I cooked it.
Oh, that's awesome. And then let's kind of go over to the other scene with the Vaseline, which I thought it was funny as hell to me. I don't know if anyone else had any other issues with it, but I thought it was really funny.
We thought it was really funny. That actually was Cole Hauser pulled that one out because the scene was I gave him the grocery list and he grunts or whatever and pulls off in his truck and leaves. And he said, "There's kind of a dead spot right there, you know." I look at the list and I don't say anything, and so I swear there was no whiskey drinking involved in the creation of that line, but it ended up being Cole and I were sitting in our chairs talking about, we should ad lib something in there. Taylor's not even here. We can get away with it, and I had a couple of more PG versions of that, and nope, they picked the Vaseline one.
That's.
I didn't know that they picked that either. And when we went to the premiere in New York City back in November, that was when I found out that is the line that they picked for that. As I'm sitting in a room full of, I think like J-Lo was there or something, and like here I am sitting in New York City in Manhattan at the Met, and we're talking about me jerking it. Thanks, Taylor. Appreciate it.
That's too funny. Well, and like it seems like for me, having been a huge fan of the show the entire seasons, and there's that big break, obviously, between 5A and 5B, and the writer strike and the actor strike. And what was it like for you guys getting back into 5B when you were back on set with everybody that you know and love? What was that whole experience like?
It's like that friend that you don't see for a long time, and then you guys can just get back and start right back where you started. You don't have to catch up or anything. It's pretty much just like that. Those people are our family, and usually we have just about the same faces every season. So it's just like that every year. It's like going back to school after summer vacation. That's all.
Okay. So basically, you don't miss a beat.
We don't miss a beat. Yeah. And then, that time goes by quick, and it was a really hard time for everybody in our industry. But I don't know, man. I seem to always get so busy when we're not filming. So I filled most of that gap. I started doing a lot of charity stuff. And I got hooked up with this foundation, and we do a lot of private events, and we'll do auctions for charity for veterans. And I ended up doing I do like a bunch of private dinners and galas and stuff. So honestly, that sucks up my time pretty good. In fact, I have one. I prep for one tomorrow, and then I have a benefit dinner on Friday for Valentine's Day.
Never ends.
It never ends. Whenever we're not working, I'm much busier.
Oh, it's interesting how that works out. But I know when we talked the first time, and I think it's even out there publicly. Let's see, there we go. Something's going on. It's kind of glitched for a second, but you're back. When you first were asked by Taylor, and I think I even kind of showed some of those clips from the earlier seasons of Yellowstone to be on camera, and it was kind of like, you were kind of telling me like, what am I going to say? What am I going to do? Why am I going to be on here? Are you comfortable now if he asks you again for another show to be, a character?
Very, yeah. It's just like anything, man. I don't think acting is just like most jobs. It's a job. You just got to practice at it and get better at it, and not the one in 1,000 or one in a million maybe is just like, oh, you're a natural born actor. I don't think that's the case. I think you can be a natural character and that's fine, but to get up there and actually, you know, recite lines that someone else wrote is that it's difficult, and if you don't practice at it and get comfortable with it, and I think that's what helped me the most was becoming really comfortable with my co-stars and being around the rest of the cast a lot and kind of making a little bit of separation between, okay, this is craft service Gator, I'm working here, we're doing this, and then okay, I'm acting today, all right, I'm over here today, I'm doing this is what we're doing. That helps a lot too, is making it's tough for me because the lines are very blurry, but making a definitive, like, nope, today I'm not doing that, I'm only acting today, I think that helped a lot.
Okay, and now that you say that would make sense, especially being around, like you said, the cast for so long. It's kind of like, I see these people every day, and I know what they're like, and we mess around with each other, and so it's like, oh, now you're going to be in their world as an actor for a bit.
Yeah, like take for example, like say like back in the day when it was less, I was just kind of thrown in. I'd go work my regular day doing craft service, and then somebody just come pull me out of the truck, and I'd go over to set and do my thing. And now, as the scenes got bigger and more involved, and I'll do multiple days in a row on the same scene. I don't even go. I just go straight to the cast trailers and check in and change, and then I'll go and sit with the cast and just be a cast member that day, and it really makes a big difference.
Okay, well, I know after the finale aired, I saw online from quite a few fans that they're wondering about your character, about what happened to Gator, because everyone else's character was kind of defined about what path they were going to go into next. Did those fans miss something, or do we just not know what happened to your character?
I kind of like that, I kind of like being a candle in the wind. But as far as I know, my character is in Texas, and I came with the Cowboys and ripped to Texas. So I can't guarantee what the future holds for Gator, the character, but I know that Taylor's always enjoyed putting me in very dusty places. So I'm assuming that I'll still be in Texas with the rest of the gang,
Okay, and that would kind of also speak to, I think there's some talk out there about another show with the 4-6s and some of the characters from
I can tell you
Yellowstone.
that is going to happen someday. I can tell you that it's probably not going to happen this year.
Okay, all right.
Definitely you will see a 4-6 show. It will happen, but it's not going to happen this year. I can tell you that there will be a lot of Texas stuff. There will be a lot of Cowboys, and then that Yellowstone is certainly not coming to an end. There's more to see.
Okay, well that's always exciting for anyone who's a fan like myself.
And we still have multiple spin-offs to do and prequels. We owe all that. There's a 1943 that's imminent, that's coming at some point. And I've even heard talks that we'll do one more in between, a 1963. So, and of course, 1923 season 2 comes out in just a week, I believe.
Yep.
We're all super excited about that. And then we have a couple other shows that are kind of related in the same universe that are coming this year also.
It's a whole lot of shows.
Tell me about it.
And so were you working on the second season of 1923 for catering?
I didn't go to that one because I was down here on Lioness season 2, and Taylor Sheridan was there himself, and I kind of had to really be there because he was in the show a lot and also directed most of it. And then after that, I ended up having to go to Yellowstone because I was in so many episodes the rest of this year that I couldn't go to 1923. I sent one of my best guys up there, but also they were in Butte. And you know what? That kind of sounds terrible. So I wasn't like, oh no, I can't go to Butte. It was more of a good luck in Butte, everybody. Because they shot that in Austin for the hottest part of the summer. And then as soon as it was getting nice in Texas, they're like, all right, let's go to the worst place for winter ever. And they went to Butte.
Oh, wow. So you kind of lucked out on that one then.
Yeah, or luck and or extreme avoidance procedures. It was definitely an active dodge that occurred there.
Okay. I'm curious for yourself. Again, you just mentioned all these shows that are coming. You've been working on a lot of the existing shows and other, besides Yellowstone. But if you sit back for like a second and think about, from season 1 all the way through the finale of Yellowstone, and just kind of what the show's meant to you, what all these other opportunities that's come from it in Taylor's world and outside of Taylor's world. What are some of just the thoughts off the top of your head about that entire wild ride?
Well, it's not over. I know that. It's been great, man. I mean, I got no complaints. I'm very fortunate to have found this group and found Taylor, who's just as crazy as I am and wants to support my crazy style, and I support his. And I've gotten to meet amazing people and go to amazing places. And but it's just another day. You can't let it get to your head or anything. It's just my job, and my job was always to be friendly and popular. And now I'm friendly and popular to more people at once. That's it. That's it's nothing's changed, but would I do it over again? Yeah. 100 million times in a row. I would never not want to be a part of this. And, yeah, and it led me here to Texas, which if you'd asked me, in fact, I think you did 2 years ago, hey, would you ever move to Texas? I would have reached through the phone and strangled you because how dare you? And here I am now, and I'll never leave, and it brought me to my home, and it brought me, much good fortune and fame, and we'll ever be grateful.
Yeah, no, that's amazing to that you've had all of this success and opportunity come along. You're still staying the same person that you are. You haven't changed yourself or your cooking or your business. And like you said, you found pretty much like a kindred soul in Taylor in terms of the style of both of you like to do things. I remember you were telling me about, I think, the first time he saw like your smoker, that he was like, when are you going to be using that thing? And you're like, I was going to fire it up today. And he's like, right answer.
Yeah, that's the correct answer to that question.
And that kind of brings me to something we were talking about 2 years ago. Your cookbook was on its way to be coming out at that time, and clearly it's been out.
Yes.
So how's it been received? How are you feeling about the cookbook now that some time
I went on this crazy book tour right after it came out. It was insane, and I didn't sleep for weeks, and I traveled everywhere, and I'm a quadruple executive platinum member with American Airlines now, though, because I must have taken 50 or 60 flights last year. It was unreal. The cookbook's done great, man. We were #1 on Amazon for a little while. We hit New York Times bestseller list. We've sold well over 100,000 copies. It's been really, really successful. And I got to go on CBS morning show on live national TV and flirt with Gayle King like a goofball, and it was just an amazing experience, and I got to do so much with it. It was really amazing.
Yeah, no, I saw some of those clips when you were promoting the cookbook on, yeah, different, like you said, national TV shows and that whirlwind. What was it like meeting some of the fans out there?
Um, Not nearly as cool as meeting Neil deGrasse Tyson. That's what I can say. Uh, no, it's really, really fun, man. Like, I meet more fans just walking down the street or going into a Walmart or go in and have beers at a restaurant or something. I meet that's where I meet my real fans, and it's funny because they brought me to all these big cities and Paramount headquarters, and they know who I am there, but outside of that, nobody in New York cares. That's not our fan base. Our fan base is here, man. Our fan base is in, rural Texas and middle America and smaller towns and farm towns. That's where all the fans are. And I'm just fortunate that I get to go to all those amazing places too.
Okay, well, and speaking of like going to those, if it's in Texas or Middle America and meeting some fans, you ever had any kind of like questions that caught you off guard or just comments for some? I see some of the things online when people are asking things about like a new episode of the show came out. And I'm like, what kind of weird question is that some of these people are asking? So I'm like, did you watch the same episode I watched? But I'm just kind of curious.
I get a lot of questions about like, what's your favorite thing to cook? And that one's always an interesting question because it's hard to really answer that. I cook so many different things, and cooking, I don't define it as a whole. It's a day by day thing. What do I like today? What am I feeling today? And but no, I mean, it's hard to catch me off guard, Mark. It really is. I'm ready for their weird questions. As long as they're ready for my weird answers.
Nice. I like that response. I was kind of wondering if some of the fans, if they're trying to ask you more about like your castmates, like what's Cole's like or what Kelly's like,
and they
like
do,
that.
and that I give them the honest answers. Like everybody wants to know about Beth, and oh my God, is she really like that? No, she's amazing and sweet and elegant and polite, and she is definitely not like that, and she hates that character. And then they'll ask me like, what's Taylor Sheridan like? And I'm like, have you seen him in the show? And they're like, yeah. And I was like, that's the guy. That is him. And then they'll ask me, about Cole Hauser, and well, what's Cole like? And I was like, Cole Hauser is Rip Wheeler. He became Rip because that was written for him, as you know, but he adopted that, and that's it. That is who he is now.
That's awesome.
Plus, he could eat more of my food this way and keep up his physique.
Oh, there you go, and keep his beard dyed and his hair dyed. And
He does go a little bit more red when we're off season because it disguises him very well.
Yeah, I remember this is like going back to like maybe the first or second season. I saw some fans were talking about they didn't realize who he was until they went back into like Good Will Hunting and some of these other films he's done all over the years. And they're like, "That's Rip. That's the same guy." And it's like, yeah, this is what they did for the character. But like you just said, that is him. It was written for him, so he could easily tap into it.
I grew up with Carter Barone, Cole Hauser. That was my generation. Was Too Fast, Too Furious, but. Other people got different versions of it over the years because he's been around forever.
Yeah. Yep. I just remember
he started acting at like 18 years old or something. He's been around for a long time.
Yep. It's one of those people, like if people are watching this right now, if you go look up his filmography, he's like, man, I didn't realize he was in all this stuff.
It'll blow your mind.
Yeah. And it's always interesting to me when you meet people that, especially if they're fans, they can't separate the the acting from the person. It's like, this is their job. They're acting as a character. It's like in Kelly's case. It's like, this is what she does because this was required of her. And then when she's not on camera, that's not her. She's her own person. But some people can't seem to get that in their head from what some of the people I've met at least. Really, really strange stuff. But yeah, and again, for people,
that just means their acting's good. That means they they made that person believe, and that's the whole point.
Yeah, exactly. That's a perfect point. It's like if you think that that's who that is, then so be it. But then at the same time, if you run into them out in the public for some reason, don't treat them like the person that they portray on the TV show and start, I don't know, getting uppity with them or something else. It's like,
Well, that's like a perfect example is Billy Bob Thornton. When I was younger and started really getting into film and stuff like that, somebody had to prove to me that Billy Bob Thornton was in Sling Blade, and I was like, "That's not Billy Bob." They're like, "No, yeah, it is." I was like, "That does not look anything like him." And as we both know, that was Billy Bob Thornton in that movie, and his range is just unbelievable.
yeah.
And of course, now he plays our favorite character, Billy Bob Thornton. He plays himself now, which is just wonderful.
It's so great that he's got Landman as a lead vehicle to remind people out there like how good he is. It's like if you forgot, watch this show, and then you're like, oh, that's right.
Yeah, just leave the kids in the other room and watch the show. That's all I can say.
Yeah, gosh, I haven't seen Sling Blade in a long time. Taters and
Still amazing. Still wouldn't believe that it's him.
Yeah, now during the holidays, another film that he was amazing in was A Simple Plan.
Oh yeah,
it's like, man, just as the brother of Bill Paxton, rest in peace, and just that spiral that they go down as a character is like, man, he was so good in that film. So when I saw that he was going to be in one of Taylor's shows, that was at least a couple of years ago when all those inklings were coming out, I was like, oh yeah, this makes perfect sense that Taylor's going to write for him. Here's the character. I didn't even need to care what the show was. I already knew it was going to be good.
Yeah.
And that's got to be great for you. I mean, knowing that you're working on different shows, either on the acting side or from the catering side, that you're going to be around some good people, and also that, I don't know, Taylor's got his finger on the pulse of something. I mean, he just seems to have it. Oh, how many shows can he do before he finally has a dud? It's like he doesn't have them. To me, he doesn't.
We got some time left. Don't worry. He's gonna keep cranking them out until until he's over it.
Yeah, and that's a tribute to him. I mean, to have his whole universe, basically the Taylor Sheridan universe, and
yeah.
Even for me, it's like, oh, maybe he's gonna. This when I remember watching Mayor of Kingstown, and then watching Lioness, and then watching. It's like, how the fuck does this guy have so much, so much quality in him? And also the people he surrounds himself with too, like yourself.
Oh, for sure. But he's, the guy's a genius. He just, this stuff just explodes out of him when he writes this stuff. He can just, it's flawless. It's effortless for him. It's unbelievable. I've seen him do it. I don't know how. We all, our big claim is that we literally saw him write an episode of Yellowstone one night. In one night, like in one sitting. No one can do that.
That's insane.
It might have been season 3 though, so there was a lot of aerial footage in season 3.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, it was so nice when the second half of season 5 finally aired for the public, because then I was going back, like many people. I watched it from season 1 all the way leading up to that, so that I can just be right back in that moment of where the storyline, where the characters were.
We opened up with a bang, didn't we?
Yes, you did.
Hey, all I can say is, if I was going to directly challenge somebody in Hollywood, I would not challenge Taylor Sheridan. That's the one guy that I wouldn't want to go head to head with in Hollywood. And as we see, when you do, you get your head blown off.
Yeah, see, and that's one of those.
No glory, no romance. Just
you're done.
You're done.
And I'm one of the fans, and I understand there's people that when that first episode aired, that they're different takes on it. To me, it was like, this is great because now it's out of the way. I mean, it's just there's so much talk, and I'm not going to get into all the white noise about it, but just like, look, now we can move on.
Absolutely the best way to do that. And I know it got a little confusing to watch it sometimes, but it only got confusing if you let it confuse you. If you just understood, no, he is dead. We're just showing what happened leading up to that. That's all.
Yeah. Um, Again, I'd rather have that than this thing of like it's kind of hanging
You
over
know
the.
he's gonna die. We all know he's gonna die eventually.
Yep. Yeah. So it's like, okay, things happened, and
And
you're no.
they managed to still let everything kind of remain a mystery too, so that's good.
Yeah. No, I absolutely agree with that, and it
And
allowed us.
everybody got what they had coming too, which is also great.
I think, and this is just me being a fanboy, that with Jamie's particular death, that I almost wanted to see more. I almost wanted to see
We
more
all did,
happen.
yeah. We all did. We were running out of time, I think. We just had to get it over with. Yeah, that was we called that it was really interesting because 5B, we don't get our scripts and get our call sheets for the day, and it would just be like the FBI sent it. So it was just all redacted, just blacked out. Everything just there's no information. The actors wouldn't be listed on the call sheet. It was because nobody could know who was alive and who wasn't. Even the other actors, we'd get our scripts and it would only say our lines in the script. It was very hush hush. And I remember the scene where Beth went and caught Jamie up at his house. They just called that on the call sheet. It just said um, Beth and Jamie play Scrabble. That was the way they listed that on the call sheet. I was like, and I remember I walked into the house that day and it was very tense. And I walked into the house and I look at Kelly Riley and she's just dripping in blood. And I was like, man, that is a hell of a game of Scrabble you're playing in there. She goes, I know, right? I said, okay, I gotta get out of here. This is way too intense.
Yeah, taking their Scrabble real serious.
God damn, I've never played Scrabble like that before, guys.
Holy crap! That's interesting that they kept the scripts that hush hush even with
Oh
the
my
actors.
goodness. And then like when we'd have background and extras and stuff, they'd bring everybody in, shoot them, and then make them go away, and then turn around and actually bring in the actual actors. And we'd actually, do like the funeral stuff and everything because that nobody could know.
Wow. And so it's kind of what you were saying earlier too, is that sometimes like when you cut when you're filming different scenes with the Vaseline, that you didn't know which one was going to end up in the actual final episode.
Yeah, that's Taylor and editing that choose that. We're not there for that. We're gone already.
Yeah, so I'm trying to make sure that if there's extras that they don't see what's actually happening in this particular scene, they can leak it out, before it airs and all that kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, all they can do is speculate.
Yeah, well, I saw one person that had a bunch of blood, but I don't know why, and I don't know what happened to them.
Well, I remember that after we did the Beth and Jamie thing, there was like a leak in Missoula in Montana, and somebody snapped a picture from their like window in their house or something, and it was a body leaving on a stretcher or in a body bag or something, and they're like, "That's it, it's John Dutton. They killed him. I know it." And we were all like, no, you don't have it." Good try though.
That's you gotta love the fans.
That's what you got to remember. That's what we do it for,
Yeah.
That's always that's my motto. If you don't remember, well, who the most important part is,
Yeah, and for me again, seasons 1, 2, and 3, I really couldn't do any wrong. 4 was kind of up and down, and then 5 kind of got back on track for both A and B. That the writing was back, and everything just kind of seemed to kind of pull back together for me.
Yeah, and 4 was a super big struggle because that was during COVID. We couldn't. It was hard to accomplish anything.
Yeah, I remember talking to Jake Ream, about that shooting season 4, and that was just it was a lot of. I think he was talking about the location changes. He was talking about some other things with getting it delayed, and that at that point it hadn't aired to the public yet, so I hadn't seen it. But there's some really awesome parts of that. Then you can see other parts. It seemed like it was a little disjointed, but would make sense based on the circumstances.
Yeah, it was it was tough. And then on top of that, we had those horrible fires in Montana that summer. So we finally are getting up to speed in Montana with the COVID thing, and then the fire shut us down anyways. So
it's like one thing, one thing after another. And I've always said too, even like with TV shows and films, it's amazing that they get done. Period.
yeah, keep buying the t-shirts, everyone. That helps a lot. We wouldn't be able to make these shows without the merchandise. You know, that's a big help. Because if we did all this stuff and didn't make merchandise, Paramount would have shut us down forever ago because we just spent way too much money.
Well, speaking of merchandise, one thing that is customary for a lot of TV shows, like when a season wraps, that you might have a wrap party, and sometimes the actors, the people involved, might give out gifts and things of that nature. Have you received anything over the 5.5 seasons of Yellowstone from people?
Nothing in particular, man. They take good care of me, and I've been fortunate enough to join them in some great adventures and good times. But I don't need anything from them. I'm so happy just to be here and to be a part of it, and for this to be a part of my life. We did have a huge wrap party, though, by the way, here in Texas at the end of season 5B, and boy, I haven't seen one like that in some time. It was pretty special. We probably had 1,000 people there. It was a really big wrap party.
Wow.
Yeah.
That sounds amazing, and hopefully it's something that stays with all of you guys, and we don't ever get a glimpse of that.
Yeah, but as far as gifts, just really good memories and good stories, and a lifetime of continued memories like that, I think, is what the gift is.
Yeah, and again, we talked about this at the beginning, at least for me, that I think people are going to be able to look 10 years down the road at Yellowstone as a whole, and it's still going to stand that that test of time. I mean, it's that strong. It's got that much layering to it.
It's so much more than a television show. It's really become a lifestyle. You can see it when you go to Walmart. It's not just a TV show anymore. It's on every aisle.
That's true. It's everywhere. I mean, you see people at Halloween dressing up as Beth and Rip. You see it, like you mentioned, the merchandising's everywhere. And even for people like me that maybe aren't, didn't grow up, let's say, with country music or Western things, you start getting sucked up into this world and start thinking, well, what else is going on with other things like it? And speaking to people like yourself, it's been really great to expand my own world of what's like. And I remember talking to Jake, well, that was like 3 years ago, and that's what he does for a living, cutting horses and all these other kind of things that I've never even knew existed, being a city boy in Seattle.
Yeah, it really opens up the world a little bit more for everyone.
Yeah, for sure. Are there plans, or maybe I shouldn't say other plans? Have you shown up in any other of these shows that you've been working on as a character or something in the background?
No, I haven't, because some of the only ones that it would really have played in are the shows in the Yellowstone universe, and obviously I'm working at the Dutton Ranch. I couldn't possibly be here. And I would not be opposed to it. Now, we did try to get me in one of our newer shows that's coming up. Unfortunately, the schedule just didn't work out, but I'd love to do like some Easter eggs here on some of the other shows, and I could play like a hot dog vendor or something. And we thought that would just be, I think that was just a sitting around the campfire talk, but that would be super neat to do like a little Easter egg somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. I'm thinking, if folks are eating in Lioness, and then you're the one in the restaurant that serves them or something, or just anything, that it would be.
Well, I think now that the main Yellowstone is wrapped up, I think that's going to be a little bit more of an opportunity now.
Okay, cool. And like you mentioned, you've been doing catering. You've got stuff tomorrow. You've got stuff Valentine's. How much has your catering business expanded now because of all the demand for you and what you do?
I kind of keep it pretty restricted because it is really specific to film and television. And I was kind of already a top contender already with that. And I don't have a ton of desire to branch my catering business outside of film and television. So, I mean, honestly, dude, I've got anywhere from 4 or 5 outfits working at one time, and Taylor Sheridan and 101 Studios take all of them. That keeps my entire operation working all year, every year. So now, as far as me going out and doing appearances and big cooking and banquets and galas, yes, absolutely is grown exponentially in the last year and a half. But as far as like the main like catering thing, I don't have a desire to spread it out so much, because I like keeping it really intimate and keeping it the way it is, and that makes it to where I don't have to sacrifice quality either. Because if I start getting bigger and bigger and bigger, I'll start sacrificing quality, and that's just not what we're about here.
Okay, that makes perfect sense. You kind of sounds like you have it where you want it.
It's a fine-tuned machine right now, and that's where it's going to stay.
Okay.
Because I have to be able to walk away too. I have to be able to go and do this gala. I have to be able to go and do this special appearance. I have to go and be able to act this week. And if I was spread too thin, it would be a problem.
Yeah, that would be something that, like everyone, I mean, you're trying to have balance in your life, and if it gets out of balance, then it's like you're going to hit the wall at some point, and things will just start going downhill for you.
That's why our time off is all very important to me and my team, and a lot of us in the industry. But me and my team, we take our time off very seriously, and we'll take all my guys are welcome to take a vacation whenever they want to take it. They just got to tell me, hey, I'm going on a trip these days. Okay, man, have a good time. And then, like, when we're off of work, I make sure and tell everybody, save your money and invest, and don't spend it all, because it's Hollywood, baby. We go 3 months without working every year, and sometimes we go 6, and sometimes there's a strike and we go 9. So it's very important to budget and save, but also enjoy those times like that, because next year we might not have a day off.
Yeah, really good advice for people, especially like you said. I mean, it can be feast or famine in terms of, no pun intended, in terms of your work.
Yeah.
And as we're getting close to wrapping this up, again, folks that are watching and listening, if you have any questions you want to ask Gator, get them into the chat quickly, and I'll ask them of him. Something else I was kind of warning about, since you did the book tour and you've been doing the premiere, and you've been all over the country. Were there any cities that really kind of stood out to you that maybe you haven't been to before, or just haven't been to in a long time?
I went to New York City for my very first time on my book tour, and I have been back like 6 times. I just love it. It seems crazy to me that I love New York City, but I just had such a good time there. And I grew up on the West Coast, where we were brought up to think, oh, New York, everybody's rude and mean, and it's dirty and gross. And it's quite the opposite, actually. Every time we've been to New York, everybody's just been so friendly, and everybody's cool and nice, and the sights are amazing. The city's beautiful, and the food is just crazy, crazy good food there. I mean, we just have a blast every time we go, and that's a big one. I did go to LA for the book tour, which was fun, because I went to like right down the street from my hometown in Glendale. We went to the Glendale Galleria and had this huge book signing, and I had people from like my elementary school show up to the book tour. It was so weird. And then those are the New York, man. That was so much fun. And then there's some other towns I went to. I kind of have traveled so much already in the States, but I did get to go to Boise. Boise was really nice. I had a good time there. But yeah, no, dude, New York took the win for sure.
And I've never been to New York myself, so that's really
Dude,
interesting.
I mean, who thought me? Here I am showing up in a cowboy hat and boots in New York City, and everybody's like, "Hey, man, how you doing? Nice hat." And I was like, "Are they making fun of me?" And I was like, "No, they're actually think I have a nice hat. This is great." And yeah, like I said, I've been back. It's like over six times now since then. It's a regular trip for us now.
Okay. When you were in New York, especially being a chef like you are, what places stood out to you eating wise?
Italian food, real Italian food. I don't know, we had so much, there were so many great places we ate, great seafood, and just the locations. I love being on the water like that, on the wharf. And we went this last time, and I had this white truffle pasta at this Italian restaurant, and I just happened upon it. I was like, "Yeah, this looks good. Let's try it out." And it was called Osteria 57. It's somewhere I think it's in Chelsea or something, or Midtown. And they bring out this. It was their special, and she goes, "Oh, you should get this." And I was like, "Okay." And they bring out this. It's just a little bowl of pasta, and it's just got a little bit of cheese or something on it. Very, very simple. And then they shaved fresh white truffles on top right in front of us. And the guy brought out a glass dome and wore white cotton gloves. And I took a bite of this pasta. Pasta's ruined. I mean, it's ruined. I can't eat pasta anymore. It was the best thing. One of the best things I ever ate.
It's making me hungry now.
Yeah, me too. We might have to get a flight and get out of here and go to New York City and go eat some pasta.
That's awesome. Well, Gator, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me again. It's been such a pleasure watching the show and getting to know you and everything that you're involved with. And so great that I know this is not clearly the end. There's so many other things coming up in the Yellowstone universe, just the Taylor Sheridan universe in general. I would always welcome you back anytime as a guest.
Mark, thanks as always. And you don't have to welcome me. Just tell me when to be on, buddy.
You'll be hearing from me at some point.
And hopefully you guys get to see more of me around. And like we said, maybe Taylor will write me a new character, or just write me into another show as myself.
I'm all for it. Sign the petition.
Do it. Let's get it started, buddy.
All right, man. Have a great day down there. Take care.
Thanks so much. Thanks, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.